The garden. When my family and I settled in Fleming and Marino, I got a MIDI musical instrument digital interface keyboard. I needed a MIDI interface to connect the synthesizer keyboards to my computer. Unfortunately, the software included with the interface device was a sequencer rather than a music processor. A sequencer is a program that reads a list of pitches and durations and sends the information to the MIDI instrument. I wanted a music processor on the order of what I had used with the Commodore 64 voices. That meant I would have to write my own program. This would require a lot of machine language code in order to play multiple notes at the same time. I wrote out the code on paper, but it was simply too long and complex to hand convert into what the computer understood. I needed another program, an assembler, which fortunately became available in a paper magazine. Hundreds of lines of 32 characters each had to be blindly, but exactly punched into the machine. The assembler worked as promised, and I transcribed my handwritten code. The user interface, where I would ultimately write music, was based on that old C64 program, Master Composer, but now I used letters to identify MIDI channels to be played. Using my little Casio keyboard and the chord synthesizer, I now could create music with real sonic depth and complexity. And yet, the data structure of the program was inefficient. The C64 has very limited memory, and my music processor used a majority of that memory to hold empty information. I was stumped for a time. The music needed to be in a continuous stream, yet editing would require breaking into that stream to change individual notes. I hit upon the idea of packetizing sections of the music which could be moved easily around in computer memory. The interface was excellent. The musician could scroll back and forth through the score at will. And now this new program could play up to 16 MIDI notes plus the 3 internal SID voices. Then disaster struck. At some random point, music began disappearing. Finding the problem took a full month and turned out to be the absence of exactly one tiny machine language instruction. I fixed it, then rebuilt everything I had messed up while finding the bug. I called my creation Presto, which stood for Professional Resolution Electro-Symphonic Techno Orchestra. The score could handle 30-second notes, triplets, repeats, and even DS, DC, and coda. It was the music processor I had always wanted.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to click like and subscribe to hear more of Dave's Life in Music.